far back can I go? I think there's more than one page. Oh my god, tell me I didn't delete any of these because I was so Nope, I didn't! Yeah! Look at this shit! Oh my god, we're so back. We're so back. I will read you guys the whole thing because I journaled a little, but not so much that it's crazy. Okay. Also, look how cute my avatar is. I'm very proud of this iteration of my account. Okay, so the first entry is from November 4th, 2006. I would have been 12 years old. I was 12 years old, okay? So let's keep that in mind for the majority of these submissions. I am 12 to 14, right? So, here we go. God. You guys are gonna see what an ugly, crunchy weeb I was. Okay. Nya, my friends, spelled F-R-E-I-N-D-S, are going out with some of the most popular guys in school. And now my other friends are crushing on them. And if someone doesn't stop calling every 5 minutes, I'll knock her out. Got that, Hope? Nika is S-O-R-R-Y, so stop. She doesn't even want to be in your stupid play, okay? But you gave her no choice. Suck it up. I remember that... Oh yeah, I started with Nya because my name on this website used to be Ichigo Momoya 1. Because I was obsessed with Tokyo Mew Mew, so that's also a thing. Ahem. So basically, I remember what this was about. We had a sleepover planned, and we had a friend that was mad they weren't invited to the sleepover. And she was, I don't even remember why she wasn't invited. I think she, like, wasn't allowed to go, but then she got really pissed that, like, her best friend was allowed to go and decided to go instead of bailing on the sleepover to go hang out with her. And she's like, I wrote a play I want us to perform. And I'm like, for who? Like, anyway, so yeah. But yeah, I was a mean kid sometimes, dude. And then I would pretend I was really sweet. I was, I don't know, maybe I only remember the bad parts because it's me as a kid, you know, and I'm more judgmental. But anyway, suckish day. From 2 days later, November 6th. Okay, I woke up way late, so I almost missed the bus. Then I got this head-splitting headache that lasted all day. My best friends are in a fight, people are saying Bree is a lessy, my Koizin is starving herself to death, and the boy I love doesn't love me anymore and won't even talk to me. I want to die! Oh my god, this is my friend Madison. Just so you guys know, this is still one of my best friends in real life. No, you do not. I loves you so much, and you do not deserve to die at all. But I am tonight, so I will miss you forever, and if I'm not at school tomorrow, you will know. Goodbye. I'm like, what the fuck? Madison, you are weird, but I love you like a big sister anyways, I said, like, 6 months after the fact. Okay. God, I'm back. I got grounded for 2 days and don't remember why, LOL. I don't either. I don't remember either. Previous set. God. This is my shit. This is my absolute shit. Okay. Wait. It's giving me the same. Okay. Oh! January 2nd, 2007. Okay, Yuki Lover 16, Mika 0, Tenshi 0, Hebe, Yuki's boyfriend... Hiyakaru and my crush went caroling. If you read Yuki's diary, you'll know the night. Anyway, I told my crush how I felt about him, but he has a GF. Did I do the right thing? Off the top, little Christy? No. No, you did not. I'm gonna tell you right now, I tortured this poor boy. Like, oh. It is my greatest shame as a human being, and like... Thank fuck, it's like almost 20 years in the past now, but sometimes I will like have nightmares about it because I feel so horrible about the way I treated that kid. Oh my god. Like, he wasn't very nice either. Not just to me, but just to like humans in general. But, like, wow. Damn, dude. Yeah, part of my lore is the unending guilt I will feel about stalking and harassing this guy. And to be fair, like, for 2 years of that, we called each other best friends. Like, we were mutually best friends. But I would not let the whole thing where I liked him go. And I just constantly bugged him about it. And it could not have been easy. Especially during your developmental years. Like, I always am like, developmentally, I, fell in love for the first time with someone who was hot and cold. I'm like, that's true, but also you knew he had a girlfriend. And even if he was leading you on a little bit, like... You knew better than that. You were raised better than that. Anyway, let's continue. From the next day, January 3rd. Hee, I got an iPod Shuffle for Christmas. I'm so happy. Has anyone ever seen Kadocha? It is like the best anime out there. I support Greenpeace. Tube socks are awesome. I love nerds, though I'm just an average girl. Bullshit, you were a fucking crunchy-ass weeb nerd if I've ever seen one. And that's nothing to be ashamed of. That's like, I stayed that way my whole life, and now I have so many friends that are just like me, so. But I'm glad I chilled a little. Slightly. To be fair, me being Choo-chan is kind of me, like, reliving this portion of my life with more experience and less cringe, and I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, athletes rock too. It's great to love. The whole world, the whole screwed up whirl, no D, needs more people who love endlessly. Maybe if it did, Earth would be a better place. Please help me achieve the goal of more loving people in the world. Be kind beyond belief. Spelled P-E-L-E-I-F. I really had trouble with I before E when I was younger. January 4th. La 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 la. Yay! My crush asked if I want to practice with airsoft guns with him on Sunday. I'm so psyched. Yay! Dude, okay. I don't know what it was about this kid. I really don't. But he, like, he just, I don't know, man. Something was wrong with, okay, hang on. American as hell post. Tell me, no, like, this boy was star-spangled. Like, this was an American boy. This was a stinky American boy. He wasn't actually stinky. The asshole smelled great. I mean, the person smelled, like, asshole notwithstanding. Very, like, hygiene was not the problem. The Americanness was, though. No, but, like, straight up, he was allowed to, like, watch things my parents would be horrified if I watched. He was allowed to do all the stuff, and he was allowed to play with airsoft guns unsupervised. And I was like, damn! So jealous. I wanted his life. Anyway, this is just a stupid chain letter, but you all know. You all know. Okay. Nya? Monday, February 26, 2007. I still am not a teenager. I'm still a preteen, so we can't bully me too hard yet. I took a bunch of quizzes, and they all said I was Ichigo except two! Yay! I love kitties, strawberries, and Robbie, but especially Robbie. Nya. That was his name. So if you didn't already realize how fucking American this entire situation was, the boy's name was Robbie. Like, have you ever heard a more American name in your life? Anyway. Yeah, man, oh my god. I should have been sent to counseling much earlier. Like, if they had sent me to therapy as a child, you know, my life would be so different, I can't even. I know a Robbie, but I think the IE makes all the difference. Word! Rob IE? Prime Minister material. Rob Y? Probably a maggot. Let's be real. Probably a maggot. But at any rate, I was a child in love. I was a child in love, and I had questionable judgment like most children. And frankly, I'm just glad that I had crushes on boys in real life and not like 30-year-old men I met online. Because some of my friends were straight up courting like adult child predators. And my mom found out because I got on the phone with her and one of these men, and his voice was so deep, and my mom was like, who the fuck was that? And I'm like, oh, it's David. It's my friend Joanne's boyfriend. He's like 13. They're like, he's not 13. What are you doing? Damn. Damn. Okay. This one is from March 30th, 2007, and this is the beginning of a story I was working on. So, because I remember working on this all the way into 8th grade. Ahem. Watching Over You, Chapter 1. Good night, Sushi... Takshishiro. I named him Takshishiro, because that's a fake Japanese name. Night, Mom. Dad will be home soon, safe and sound, okay? Okay, I love you. Love you too, Mom. Ill. Very ill. Takshishiro was ill with cancer. What a great time for his dad to leave for war, huh? His mom did the best she could, but couldn't cheer him up. The fever and flu were his sleeping pills. When he awoke, he was not in his own bed. He was in a small cottage about 1 or 2 in the morning. The stars were still shining brightly, so why had he woken up? Faintly in the distance, he heard a trumpet. Odd as it was, he tried to sleep again. Takshishiro! He snapped awake again. He guessed about 10 minutes later. Standing in front of him was a girl with long golden hair and hazel eyes that were more green than brown. She was wearing a long, silky silver gown that seemed to fit perfectly. She looked so beautiful, so angelic, and so familiar. Who was she? Takshishiro, that's the war trumpet! The Black Queen and her men are coming! We can't stay here! Her voice was sweet as honey, but the pang of urgency told him to enjoy it later. Where do we go? He asked the girl. Father Terrakini's, hurry! That sounds like a fucking Italian fucking pasta. Yo, we're going to Father Linguini's! Let's book out! Alright, girl. Whatever. Is it far? She opened her mouth, but was interrupted, with 2 P's, by the way. Before she could answer, there was a banning? That's supposed to say banging, I'm sure. On the door. No time, she whispered. She opened the cellar door. Follow. It was a cozy little cellar, but he imagined they wouldn't be there long. The girl hurried about, grabbing a few random items off the shelves. A music box, a book with no title, a jar of brilliantly colored butterflies, and a small black kitten, who was laying comfortably by the fireplace and made quite a fuss at the movement. Prop the windows, she said. He obeyed. Once they escaped the cellar, a white steed waited for them. Questionable, choice of tense, but I am not an English teacher. Clearly. I mean, I'm certified, but... The girl tossed her few possessions into the saddlebags, except, of course, for the kitten, which she held in her bosom, which meant she had to hold the reins with one hand. Does it? Okay. Dude, this girl must have been busty as fuck. What was I thinking? She just put the cat in her tits. Okay. Takshishiro just stood there dumbstruck. Come on, shouted the girl. Takshishiro jumped on. With a simple whistle from the girl, the horse sped forward. Takshishiro turned to see the intruders. Warriors, archers, and wizards banged at the door. Suddenly they stopped. They parted like the Red Sea as a woman in a large black dress came forward. She was so beautiful, but so frightening. She lifted a blood-stained hand. The whole world faded away as Takshishiro watched the cottage rot away into nothing. There was a blood-curdling scream. Blood-curdling? Did you catch that? Not blood-curdling. I genuinely thought it was blood-curling. That seemed to reach the ends of the earth and then echo back at full volume. All the suffering, pain, and fear in the world seemed to be summed up in this scream. The smell of death and disease was heavy in the air. Shalabaz! Shrieked the girl. She began to sob, but still rode on. The stench was growing steadily heavier. Takshishiro masked his nose with his hands to block the stench. No avail. The last thing he remembered was the awful smell with the girl's cries of Shalabaz and the fast-paced bounce and clip-clop as they rode off into the night. Then he blacked out. Trademark 2007 middle schooler writing? You don't end a scene. You just make the character black out. That's my writing tips from 2007. Oh, here's some dumb chain letter shit. The first attempt in writing? I've been writing my whole life. Like, I'm not even kidding. Hang on. Like, before I could hold a pencil or use a typewriter, I would dictate stories to my mother to type up on her typewriter. So that was a whole thing. Also, yeah, I worked on that story there for a very long time after this, in private, and it didn't go anywhere, but, like, there is a sick, twisted part of me that wants to go back and, like, find my original manuscript and actually finish the job. Okay, let's see. The Sisterhood of the Domino's Pizza Box! Okay, this is an entry about a formative childhood experience. Okay, so Mikazuki, who, by the way, is my friend Joanne. We're still real-life friends today. Best friends, I would even say. We're, like, closer. Basically, me, Joanne, and Madison are closer than sisters. Like, it's crazy. Well, Madison has real sisters. I have sisters, too. Joanne has a brother. We're, like, sisters, but, like, different, you know? Like, sisters from other misters. We're just very close. We've known each other for over 20 years. That's how it should be, right? Anyway, so Mikazuki and I spent the night at Wish for Mr. Sun to Go's house. That's my friend Melody. We're still friends too. Not as close as Joanne, Madison, and I, but still pretty close. And we were sleeping outside. It was so fun, and we kept calling my crush. I broke up with Dalton the other day. But anyway, which, I don't know why I felt the need to mention that here, because, like, I've never mentioned Dalton in my blog posts on Gaia Online to begin with, but that guy was fucking gross. I like that I spelled it Dalton. Because for real, girl. So we were running around, and Wait for Mr. Sun to Go said, I want pizza. So I said I had money. We walked to my house at like midnight, and my mom freaked out, but I told her I was getting pads. We ordered the pizza at like 12:44. It was a small Domino's cheese pizza. When the pizza guy got there, we looked all sexy. It was funny. What? You're 12! You what? Girl, leave that poor delivery driver alone. After we ate the pizza, we walked around playing Mew Mew. The whiplash! The whiplash of these two sentences being so close together. When the pizza guy got there, we looked sexy. And then immediately after we ate the pizza, we walked around playing Mew Mew. Wait for Mr. Sun to Go was pudding, I was Ichigo, duh, and Mikazuki was lettuce. The next morning, we wanted pancakes, so we walked to my house and made cheese, regular, and chocolate chip pancakes. Yummy! Then we toasted with Fresca to tradition and the sisterhood. Now we are going to do it each first Friday and Saturday. Me and Mikazuki played Mew Mew and watched Mew Mew in Japanese for the rest of the day. It rocked, and now I am a member of two great sisterhoods. The Sisterhood of the Domino's Pizza Box and the Sisterhood of the Pancakes. Honey, if it's the same members, they're not two different sisterhoods. Okay, some random quotes for many occasions. I just pulled these out of my ass, I'm pretty sure. But also I see an oil break in chat, which is a good idea, because I've been reading for a lot, so hang on. Dalton? What happened to Robbie? Ooh, okay. So whenever these two were in contact, they fucking hated each other, if I remember right. Like, it was one of those things where, like, Robbie... Okay, when I was a kid, right? So he had a girlfriend, but he kept me very close. And then when I would date anyone else, he'd get all fucking sad about it. It was very strange, very confusing, and I've had a lot to work out in therapy. And it's no one's fault, because we were all children, repeating patterns we learned elsewhere. So, that's fun. So, his hot and cold attitude toward me mirrored my hot and cold, attitude I got from my dad, and so I was just primed for this shit. So, I realized that dating other dudes was a great way to get his attention, because he'd get all fucking butthurt about it. Which is probably why I mentioned Dalton here, even though I knew for a fact, like, that kid did not have Gaia, so he never saw it. But at any rate, yeah, Dalton was a guy in this youth group that I used to go to, and also Robbie and that Wait for Mr. Sun to Go person I mentioned went to. It was like this little, it was like a co-ed Boy Scouts at the Seventh-day Adventist church, and I wasn't even Seventh-day Adventist, so I don't know what I was doing there in the first place. But yeah, so Dalton and Robbie hated each other, like, very, very much. And I remember we went to this, like, pine car derby thingy that we used to do, and it was just, like, it was just dramatic. It was dramatic, and then Dalton and I broke up, and trust me, I did not lose focus on this young man, this Robbie man, for, like, entirely too long. Like, an embarrassing amount of time. But fortunately, most of it is chronicled privately. This is just like, you're seeing chapter 1 in a stupidly long story. And I will not be telling the later parts of that story. This is all you guys are ever gonna get of that. Because the rest of it is like, stuff I'm still working out. And probably will be for like a long time. It's really weird. But anyway. How much have I said about it? Too much? Question mark? My point is, I'm 31 now, my life is great, but sometimes, you know, the places we learn, like when we're young and we're forming our idea of what relationships are and how they should be, some things are just really impactful, and it takes us a while to unpack them. So that's kind of what the situation is, right? Like, I'm not actively wrestling with this shit, like on a daily basis and like still pining over this person. It's more like, oh, I need to learn daily and relearn what a healthy relationship is. And I'm very lucky to have a patient partner who like is non-judgmental about it and gives me what I need and who I can actually contribute to the relationship with. So, like, I'm in a good spot, guys. Don't worry, I'm not nuts. But boy, I sure was. Oh! I didn't see that we redeemed a Choo-Choo! Hi, Deathy! Good to see ya. Choo Prologue, Demo Edition only. Exactly. Gaia Online, forgot this one existed. Bro, me too. Every couple years, I just boot it back up. But now I can't get into RPs anymore because I'll show people RP samples and they're like, this one might be a little complicated for you. And I'm like, I used to be like a top role player in like 2011 on this website. And now the kids are like, nah, we're good. It's probably because they see my little journal entries and they think I wrote them yesterday. Anyway, okay, back in. Enough lore, back in. Some random quotes for many occasions. Okay, this one's serious. Parts of this are serious. You may be upset because you didn't get the girl, but someone somewhere is upset because they did. Yo, what the fuck? Okay. To the world, you may just be one person, but to one person, you may be the world. Aw. Do vegetarians still eat animal crackers? These are questions. When in doubt, you're in doubt, and there's nothing you can do about it. When teachers say that you don't apply yourself, it's just a nice way of saying you're lazy. People often say I love you and then tell the person just how much, when those 3 words are already the most... 3 words? I can read real good. Are already the most special thing in the world. I don't think anything I said here is untrue, but like, why did I feel the need to say it? Like... Oh, I remember this one. World's worst flirting names. Okay, if you haven't noticed, I'm a freak. Deal with it? You know what, I respect that stance, and I would still stand by it today. I am a freak. You can deal with it. So now I'm just gonna list stuff you should never call your boo. Sexy flab, snuffykins, turtle dove, flubber, baby butt, kissy pie, very mortifying, tuna baby, free willy, bad idea, mole mama, scar sweetie, shmoo, and finally, drum roll, please. Drum roll. With an E, by the way. Jim Sock Muffin! Well, that's all. I'll have more later. Possibly even good pet names. Bye-bye. 10 days after this, I turned 13. Let's see what people had to say. From now on, I will call you Jim Sock Muffin. Muffins are evil. Love the most randomest princess you'll ever meet. Okay, so, hang on. I know we're going down a rabbit hole now, but this is either Jenna... or... oh, what was her name? The most emo guy I ever dated had a girlfriend that... Alana. Her name was Alana. But I think this is actually Jenna, maybe. Nope, just kidding. This isn't Jenna. This must be... oh, you know what? Friends in Common, Madison. That's probably one of Madison's friends from the next city over that we met. Her, Susan, or... I forget the other one's name. Anyway, some very cute quotes. Please read. We're in the random era of the internet. Baby, we are squarely in the random era of the internet. Very readable. Holds up spork. Yeah, excuse me? I'm so LOL random. Hi, Guru B, you're just in time for Cringe! Okay, so some of them are better than others, but they're all very cute and inspiring. The last one is my favorite. I'm gonna cringe at all of these, I bet. Also, this one is so sad. Okay. Okay, so some of them are better than others, but they're... oh, yeah. Love is like a rose. In winter, only the strong survive, and each has many thorns. Don't regret something that once made you smile. I guess. Life isn't measured by the breaths you take, by the ones... but that's wrong. That's entirely... life isn't measured by the breaths you take, but by the ones that take your breath away. The ones what? There's no reference in the first half of the sentence. The ones what? adults, one's being people? Ugh, anyway. Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. That's literally the exact same thing as this one. Don't ask me to be perfect when you're not. Ho literally said, do not point out the speck in your brother's eye when you yourself have a plank in your own eye. First remove the plank from your own eye before pointing out the speck in your brother's. I don't know what Bible verse that is, but I know that it is a Bible verse. Okay, when you feel like giving up on someone, remember why you held on so long. Kids, I'm gonna tell you right now, fuck that one. Sunk cost fallacy doesn't exist. Get out of bad relationships. Fuck that. Perfect girls aren't real. Real girls aren't perfect. That one I stand by. Have you ever thought of someone and realized you were smiling the whole time? That's not even a cute quote. That's just a thing that happens to normal humans. I'm not telling you how I feel it's not telling you how I feel that scares me. It's what you'll say back that does. Girl. She ignores all the guys who want her because she's too busy noticing him. I hate the fact that I still love you after all the lies. This is... Bro. Get therapy, homegirl. Okay. Live for the moments you can't put into words. Your name never leaves my heart. Smile. It makes people wonder. I want to get over you, but I keep tripping. No. My internet dropped. Yeah, your internet was like, yo, this is cringe. I'm fucking out of here. To her, he's everything, but to him, she's just another girl. Good girls are bad girls that don't get caught. That one's real. That one's true. Big if true, and call it big cause it true. The only way to make me smile is if he says I love you and means it. Girl, say it with me now, kids. Go to therapy! Oh my god. The fixation was unreal, guys. I cannot stress enough that, like, for the well-being of every child I ever interacted with, I should have been in therapy. And if you're a parent and you have a kid and you're like, oh, they're a little off, but I don't want to send her to therapy because I don't want them to feel stigmatized, I don't give a shit. Like, you are part of a community and so is your child. Send that weird asshole to therapy. Because, oh my god. Okay. When I look on the bright side, it's always in his direction. This is making me so sad. I have nothing but love in my heart for child me, but she really needed someone to see this and be like, hey, that's not healthy. Let's redirect. And no one ever did. Except other kids who were not in a position to be like, hey, let's redirect. Because they're children. Wow. Life without you would be like a broken pencil. Oh my god. Completely pointless. That's gay. Yo, that shit's premium gay. I love when you stare at me with a smile. My heart skips a beat when I hear you call my name. You got into my head with all the pretty things you said. Pretty ittle things you said. Don't tell me the sky's the limit when there are footprints on the moon. That one, I got a lot of mileage out of. That was my favorite quote for a very long time. Hope you liked. I have more quotes in another entry. By all means, go ahead and read them again. They're very cute. Plus, most of the ones in the other entry I wrote. If you don't read my other stuff, that's okay though. I'll still be your buddy. So for that one, I was 13. This was the summer after my 7th grade year. My birthday is May 29th, so... Okay. This one I wrote at the start of my sophomore year of college because that was a time when I stumbled into Gaia Online. Someone reminded me it existed. It was Joanne, actually, I think. She was like, I'm selling all my old shit, like my garbage clothes from 2006 and making a killing because inflation is insane. I'm like, that's awesome. Okay. But here's my, long view, 8 years after the fact, just reminiscent about my life, okay? And this is our last entry. So as far as anyone knows, I died after this. Like, this reads like a suicide note if you come to my account not knowing me in real life. So I should probably add a journal entry just to be like, I'm putting in another journal entry. You know what? Real quick. Actually, no. We'll type up a journal entry together, and then we'll go back to the gotcha for a little longer, and then close out. But, like, okay. Did I ever exist? It's amazing to me to see how much a person can change in a matter of years. And yeah, obviously I would be referring to myself. I love that, like, even though it's been 8 years, just because of the way I am as a human, you can tell it's the same person writing this entry. I look at younger generations and wonder if there's any hope, and then I see I was the same way as a kid, and I wonder even more. Nah. I'm alright. I at least grew up to be less self-involved, dropped that boy, and started actually doing some good in the world. I say dropped that boy like he was the problem, and like... Ugh, that makes me so upset. Okay. I'd be lying if I said there's not a special place in my heart for that time and that boy, but clearly 7 years have passed and things were bound to change. I'm not sure why I still think about the memories and the people from back then. I was really fixated on that time in my life for a long time, and I think it's because it was like the last time I felt a sense of community and belonging instead of like fighting for my fucking life. And fortunately that's not true anymore because like my life has moved and actually like developed. I basically graduated high school, dated the first guy that paid attention to me, married him. It was a huge mistake, and like I just spent a lot of time afterward regretting my life. So that's the chapter of my life we're in here. So keep that in mind. I'm not sure why I still think about the memories and the people from back then. I guess it's just hard to accept it's all fallen apart. So much is different, and all those people will never be together again. Not like that. Madison and Joanne hate each other now. Update, they don't hate each other anymore. We're all best friends again. Not without good reason, but they do. There was a big falling out. I won't get into that. But they're good now. Thank God I still have Joanne. I guess I have Maddie too. I'd have Maddie too if things weren't so crazy right now. Maddie's parents aren't married anymore. I haven't been friends with quote-unquote Nika or Hope in years. Side note, Nika was my first girlfriend. I mentioned her in that first chapter. Like, she was my first GF in the like, platonic sense of the word. And she died of a drug overdose a couple years after this. So, lots of updates. Hope and her new best friend both had babies in high school. Julia does her own thing now. Julia is actually a great streamer now named JFay, I believe, which is what we used to call her. So you should look her up on Twitch. Let me see if I can... I'm going to shout out her channel here in a minute, just because I mentioned her here. How do I do that? Hold on. JFay Twitch. Is that what she goes by? Faye. Is this her? That's not her. She's not a VTuber. She's a flesh tuber. Guys, I gotta find her. I gotta find her because she's really funny and you guys would really like her streams. Anyway, okay, I'll get back to that. Where is it? Okay. Julia's doing her own thing now, but she and Steffi are still best friends. I don't know if that's still true, because I kind of have lost track of Steffi, but... Melody moved away to Oklahoma and is getting married next summer. I'm in the bridal party. Thank God we stayed together. She had a kid with that guy who was her high school sweetheart, divorced him, and is now married again to a guy that's less toxic, apparently. They were both my friends, so I try not to take sides, but it sounds like there was a right and wrong in that divorce, potentially, but who knows. And Robbie, well, I guess he tells people that we used to be super close whenever I mention and politely asks how I'm doing. That is something that one person told me one time, and I don't know if she was trying to make me feel better because I was so fucking nuts. Like, I cannot stress... I was unwell, and I'm not gonna stop emphasizing that. No one got hurt, but, like, I mentally was not okay. I'm sick of all the fucking formalities. Is that all of us are going to be to each other anymore? Conversational points at parties. It makes me sick to my stomach because these were the last people I loved without reserve and without expecting much in return. Although I was grossly unfair to Robbie, I must admit. This is when I started feeling self-awareness. Let's go. Choo is developing, if only a little bit. And to think I was just some tiny, hyperactive little brat when all of this happened. I figure I probably still am. I just express myself more eloquently and love people a lot less because I know someday they'll probably all be moved away or pregnant or married or not the least bit interested in me as a person. But my boyfriend's mom has cancer and I have to find a second job to pay the bills, and my sisters and brother are growing up too fast for me to keep up. My friends are so busy and I am so lost, and I'm trying to make something of myself so I can maybe just help one other person before I'm gone forever, and it all feels so goddamn futile. I miss speaking my mind in public. I miss being an uninhibited, happy, somewhat fearless brat. I'm not saying I want things back exactly how they were. I just want to feel the way I used to. Whoa. Guys. That got so much heavier at the end than I expected it to be. Guys, let's add a little journal entry here. Coming back to assure you all I'm not dead. Okay, that last entry reads super dark when taken in context as my last Gaia journal entry ever. So I wanted to drop a line and let you know I'm okay and a million times happier these days. Joanne and Madison are super homies again. And while I don't live in the same city anymore, we're sure to be friends for life. I married a wonderful man who makes wonderful art, and I'm typing this live right now on my Twitch stream. I found a hobby. Is this a hobby or a job? I'm gonna say a hobby right now. I'm gonna say hobbies, because I do a few things. I found hobbies that make me feel really fulfilled, like VTubing and writing and rock climbing. I've gotten more involved in the world instead of by working 2 jobs, by joining community initiatives for change. Anyway, I guess I'm saying I know the last entry made it sound like I was hopeless. And like I didn't see any way it would ever get better. The world as a whole is inarguably more bad as I'm typing this, but I've found a way to build a good life within it, and I will always treat that as a blessing. I'm done taking my one precious life for granted. What a great day to commit to that mission yourself. Peace and love. Be back. IDK when, but surely sometime. Okay. Wow. What a journey that was. Oh my god. Would therapy help them? Bitch, I don't know. Other kids don't help you redirect, they redirect at you. They also, like, encourage the behavior because to them, they're like, oh yeah, choose in love. Oh my god, that's so sweet. And I'm like, no, it's creepy. And in some cases, it really reads like stalking. Like, I don't know. I've already said too much. We're gonna move on. Just so we're clear though, I want to make sure that I say this very clearly. No one was ever, like, hurt. There was never any need for a police report to be made. Like, it was fine. Sacred Lotus gifted a tier 1 sub to Star the Ducky. Star, welcome. You can now use our animated emotes. Hell yeah, friend. Also, I need to take that oil break and do that choo-choo, and then we need to get back to the game, but I also just really quick want to prove that I do in fact have the special edition 2011 Save Japan jacket. Look at it. Isn't it beautiful? Can I like scroll over and it'll tell you what it is? Yeah, Coat of Kanon. Coat of Kanon. Yeah, this is my inventory. I have some cool shit. Like, I have the Elemental Wings, Coat of Kanon, I have the Berserker Reborn. See, I don't have, like, a ton of things, but the things I do have are worth some Scarilla. You know what I'm saying? What else do I have? Let's see. See, I was never big into collecting items for my avatars. That was more my friend Joanne, but, like, I do have some pretty cool shit. I do be having cool shit. Where's the... I think I have the celebrity date. Did I sell my celebrity date? No, I didn't. I'll never sell my celebrity date. Never ever! I was so obsessed with this thing when it came out, so when I finally, like, sold some of my old items so that I could afford it because of inflation, I was like, this is awesome. And now I have billions in gold, and, the end. Okay, guys. Wasn't that fun? Wasn't that a fun little trip down memory lane?